No Narratives Podcast, episode 53. I got my guy Marco on. This is an NBA episode. What's going on, man? How you been? What's
What's
going
up,
on, man?
guys? Thanks for having me on again,
Of
man.
course, of course, of course, man. Of course, man. I like you. You an insightful guy. I like when we come to NBA talk. I like the energy you bring. So, of course, I'm gonna have you on, man. A lot of stuff has happened in the NBA since the last time you and Jeff did an episode a few weeks ago, and I wanted to get into it because it's some new NBA news and it's exciting to talk about and it's new to talk about. So let's get into it. The first one is the big news, I would say, is Giannis Antetokounmpo alleged trade request. Brian Windhorst and Shams both said that he has went to them about getting a trade. Both of them said that he went to them in the offseason and said he wanted to go to the Knicks. Of course, Doc Rivers today made a statement, or maybe it was last night. He made a statement saying, I'm talking to the source. He did not request a trade. He did not do this. He did not do that. That's what Doc Rivers said. I guess Brian Windhorst and Shams are just lying. I guess they're lying on the Giannis for some reason. They have some type of agenda. But what do you think about the Giannis trade request and I don't know, like, where do you think he should go? Do you think that he should go to the Knicks? Like, what do you think?
Well, I think right now, I think he wants out because he knows he's in his prime. He knows he's
Yeah.
in his prime. He got at least 2, 3 more years of his prime, but he knows that the supporting cast around him is just
Mm-hmm.
not enough.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, they traded some of them, right, or let some of them go. And then you got Dame Lillard, who was supposed to be there, had that injury, and sort of derailed everything for him. I think it's going to sound weird that I say this, but I think he's going to go chase a ring.
For sure.
He wants another. You know what
But
I
the
mean?
idea,
It's not ring chasing, but he wants to go to a contender. I'm a Lakers fan, man. I would love him on the Lakers, but we'd give up probably Reeves as the centerpiece, who's balling out, drop the 50 piece, right? We have I don't know how many picks we got left. We got Dalton Connect, I think still. We got some young pieces we can move, but it would really be LeBron at 40 something years old, with Giannis in his prime and Luke in his prime, which I think gets it done. I think gets it done. Um, I have a couple Houston friends that would love to see him in Houston. I just don't know what kind of pieces y'all would give up, in terms of you'd have to give up somebody big, right? I know that
yeah,
the Spurs.
Alperen Sengun would be the key piece in that.
Yeah, I personally would love him to go to the Spurs. It's a great organization. He's going to go to a similar market, such as the Milwaukee Bucks. Right? Not all the lights on him. Not a lot
Mm-hmm.
of pressure that he would get in a big market team. I know that probably they'd have to give up Dylan Harper, right, and some other pieces. But if I'm the Spurs, if I could get a generational talent like Giannis to play with a generational talent in Wemby, and you keep Fox. I would love to see him with the Spurs. That's where I want him to go in terms of me being able to watch something exciting. Bias, I want him to at the Lakers, but reality, I think the Spurs have enough to make that move and
Yeah,
not be hurt so much.
for sure. I'm looking at the contract, man. Giannis makes 54 million this year, 58 million next year. Then he has a player option for 62 million at age 33 in 27, 28. Bro,
Oof.
Austin Reeves is not going to get it done. One, Austin Reeves is just he cannot be a centerpiece of a trade that's going to Milwaukee for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Two,
Yeah, the
he's
money's not there
20
either.
Two, he's 27 years old, bro. Like he's 27 years old. And three, he has a player option which he's likely going to opt out of for 14 million next year, and he's only making 13 million this year, bro. The money just does not
Yeah.
add up. Like it's going to take LeBron James, who has a no trade clause, to get that trade done. That's where it would have to start. It would likely have to be, if I was to just let me look at LeBron James' contract right now. Obviously he does have, like I said, he has a no trade clause, but it would
Yeah.
likely have to be something of the mix of LeBron and Austin Reeves to get that trade done. I would think
Yeah.
like it would have to be something like that. Now, maybe not, because LeBron does make 52 million this year. He has a player option, but again, like that's the only way it gets done. And the Bucks are not trading for a 41-year-old LeBron James, and it just
Right.
doesn't
Right.
make sense. And LeBron has a no trade clause as well. Secondly, it's reported that Giannis wants to go to a big market team. That's why he wants to
Mhm.
go to the Knicks. That's why he told the Milwaukee Bucks he wants to get traded to the New York Knicks. In terms of that, like I just don't see it. A trade there would likely have to include like Anunoby and Josh Hart going to Milwaukee, which again, I don't understand why the Bucks would be like, hey, we're gonna trade Giannis. Let's bring in Anunoby and Josh Hart. Like I don't see why they would do that. Plus, the New York Knicks traded like 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges. So where is their draft capital coming from? They're a second April team, so certain picks in the future they can't even involve in the trade because their picks are frozen. So that's another factor. Then, like I said, the only team, obviously, like I said, Giannis said he wants to go to a big market. The only team that makes sense to me is 2 teams, but I'm gonna say one team: the San Antonio Spurs. The other team is the Oklahoma City Thunder, but they're on pace to win 70 games. They're not looking to make a big splash trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo. That doesn't make sense right now for them. But obviously, so that's one team, and then San Antonio is the second team. It would have to involve a Devin Vassell, a Harrison Barnes, maybe a Keldon Johnson, and it would have to also include a Stephen Castle or Dylan Harper, but maybe potentially even both to get a Giannis Antetokounmpo. You're talking about trading, like you said, a generational talent, and he's widely perceived as a generational talent, a champion, a defensive player of the year, an MVP, a finals MVP. You're talking about one of those types of guys. Like, you're going to need a haul. And the Bucks emptied out their draft capital for Damian Lillard, didn't work out, and just to appease Giannis Antetokounmpo and make him happy. And none of it has worked out. They haven't been past the second round since 2022. They haven't been past the first round since 2022. Like 2023, I'm sorry. Like, they haven't been, since 2022. They haven't been past the second round or the first round since 2022. So it's like a team like this, I just don't know what makes a lot of sense for them. You know what I mean? And I got some stats to look. I got some stats for you, man. So they're in the last 10 games, the Bucks are 2-8 with an offensive rating of 112. That's 19th. That's good for 19th in the league, and a defensive rating of 118.2. That's good for 21st in the league, with a negative net rating of 5.2. That's good for 22nd in the league. Yikes, disgusting. And then their overall record this season is 9-13. They rank 16th in offensive rating, 23rd in defensive rating, 18th in net rating. The last stat I got for you. This is their on-off numbers. This is their on-off numbers with Giannis on the floor, off the floor. His on the floor, they have an offensive rating of 124.3. That's great. That's good for like top 5, top 10, maybe top 3. Defensive rating 115. That's decentish. That's 10. That's top 10 in the league with a net rating of 8.8. That's with Giannis on the floor. That's a solid team. That's a playoff team. When Giannis is off the court, they have an offensive rating of 105. That's a 19-point dip. A defensive rating of 116. So their defense doesn't get markedly worse or better. And a net rating of a -11. So this team is just, I don't know. This team is not, it's not a good team. And I'm going to let you go, but I do want to say a lot of this, I don't want the Bucks to get any type of blame for what's going on right now in Milwaukee. Giannis, they were trying to appease Giannis, which is why they emptied out the draft capital for Damian Lillard. They got rid of Drew Holiday for Damian Lillard, who went to Boston and won a championship, to make Giannis happy. You know what I'm saying? They traded Chris Middleton for Kyle Kuzma. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying they did that to make him happy, but they just did it to try to get some type of help. This team has been stumbling and trying to chase that championship since they won it 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago now. It's over. And they did everything in their power to make Giannis happy. And now they're not winning anymore. So I don't want the organization now to be blamed for not doing the right thing for Giannis.
No, I agree, man. And on top of that, I can't even blame them for not trading Giannis, because you see what kind of hauls other teams are getting for superstar type players.
Yeah.
Paul George, right? I mean,
but that was a long time ago, though. But
that
was a long time ago.
But you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
just Giannis is a top 5 player.
For sure.
He's a top 5 player, probably top 3.
Mm-hmm.
He can carry a team. I mean, it's hard right now with the team that's around him. I mean, you got who's the second option? Kuzma? Come on, man. He's never been on a winning team, bro. He's never been on a winning team. I don't know.
Wait, Kyle Kuzma?
Yeah, man.
He's been on a winning team. He was on a team that won a championship.
Who? Oh, on the Lakers?
Yeah. What you talking about?
Man, he didn't do nothing, bro.
Nah, you was wild.
He
Kyle
didn't do
Kuzma
nothing, man.
was a good player, a good role player for that team. He was. I'm gonna
But
give him that.
but now I just don't. I don't see him
Mm.
doing much other than playing offense. But yeah, I don't know. If I'm the owner of the Bucks, there's really nothing out there that would make me want to trade him. So they're in a tough spot because of Giannis. If he really does want out, I don't know what they're gonna get back. And then on top of that, you don't want to keep a player that wants to leave, right? He's
Yeah,
not going to give you 100%. Is the injury legitimate? The
I
timing
think
was
it's
weird.
legitimate, bro. It's
The timing
legitimate.
was weird, but
Yeah,
2-3 weeks calf strain. We're gonna see just how good this Bucks team is without him,
they're not good.
and I think it's gonna prove Giannis's point. Like, yo, I don't got no help.
Yo, they're 1-5, I think, this season without Giannis. They're one
Yeah,
win versus Golden State, and they're 9-8 with Giannis.
it's
So they're not
so
a good
yeah, they're gonna tank.
basketball
Yeah,
team.
yeah, they're
Yeah,
gonna tank without him.
yeah.
And that's going to be a I told you so for Giannis, right?
Mm.
But then it's like, okay, you trade him. You would, for someone like Giannis, you would need a superstar back. Like, you would need a Luka Doncic back, right?
I think
You
that
would
I
need
think for the Bucks though, it would definitely be like Dylan Harper. It would be
yeah,
a
yeah, you got
Stephen
to get yeah, you
Castle.
got to
It
get
would
a
be something like
young
that. They're not going to get a proven superstar back right now.
and you got to get a young, good player that you can grow into, like that they
Mm.
can grow into your team, right? And build around. Like it would have to be the Spurs are really the only to me the logical.
That's the
The
only thing.
Thunder, they can do it, but there's just no reason to. They're legitimately they're a dynasty. Like I know they've only won one chip, but the way that their the contracts are and the way that their team is made, they're unstoppable. They're unstoppable. So I don't think they make a move here. There's just no reason to. Um, I mean, hell, was it Jalen that got hurt and then he came back and dropped the 30 piece?
Jalen Green,
No, no, who's the damn?
Kevin Porter
I think it was
Jr.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Kevin Porter
Like
Jr. He dropped a 30 ball, and they still lost that game. I think they still lost
it's
that game
crazy,
to the
bro.
Wizards. To the Wizards. Like, you know what I'm saying? They lost to the Wizards. So I mean, I think like you said, man, the only logical team is the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah,
They have the picks, they have the prospects. That's the only logical team. Now, the only thing that gives me pause about everything is the fact that Giannis said he wants to go to a big market. If he wants to go to the Knicks, I would prefer Giannis go to the Knicks as a Rockets fan. Get him out the West, keep him in the East. You know what I'm saying? Let him go to a team where they have to destroy the roster to get him, and then ultimately it'd be Milwaukee, but in New York. Like that's the only thing that's what I want, because I don't want Giannis in the West, and I damn sure don't want him in San Antonio. I don't
yeah,
want him in San Antonio whatsoever. With Wemby, Giannis, De'Aaron Fox, no, I don't want those type of problems for the Houston Rockets.
oh
And
yeah, yeah,
like that's my thing. So at the end of the day, like I said, I would prefer him go to the Knicks if any other team, because yeah, but I just don't know what Milwaukee. In Milwaukee, it has been reported they are going to work with him to try to send him to a location where he wants to go. Hey, if you want to go to Miami, like he can go
yeah.
to Miami, play with Bam, play with Tyler Hero. You know what I'm saying?
Good coach.
Involve, yeah. Put Khalil Ware in a trade. Put Jaime Jaquez in a trade. You know, move that team, blow that team. Andrew Wiggins, blow that team up. I
Yeah,
would rather him go to a team that's in the East and a big market like he wants. Miami is a big market. New York Knicks are a big market. Keep him out the West. So I
yeah,
hope
yeah,
Miami can make the necessary push to get him to Milwaukee. I mean, or to get him to Miami. I hope that they can do that.
yeah. And on top of
Go
that, so
ahead.
I'm
Go
in
ahead.
San Antonio. I'm in San Antonio there, and there is chatter. I know a couple people that get a little bit more information that I lean on because they're
Mhm.
mostly right. From what I understand is hypothetically the Giannis trade would be centered around for sure Dylan Harper would have to move
Yes,
for sure.
absolutely.
And here's the problem: the Spurs they're not a team that will say we need a trade to win now. That's just not how they've ever done it. Ever. They build, they rebuild, right? Like, I mean, they're not ones to be like, well, we're gonna trade Kawhi, but you got to give us, you know, Luka Doncic and
Yeah.
whoever else, right? They got DeMar DeRozan, which was fair, and I think the Spurs lost on that trade.
They did that.
So
They lost on purpose because they didn't want to send Kawhi to where he
yeah,
wanted to go.
yeah.
They took less on
So
purpose to not
yeah,
send him where he wanted to
and
go.
I think that the Spurs are just not that type of organization to be like, oh, we're just going to give up our rookie that we just drafted that
Mm-hmm.
is well received in the city. And the first thing that I think Spurs ownership looks at is the perception of the fans, right? It's a super all about the fans here in this city.
Mm.
Like the fans is what made the Spurs the Spurs. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
That's just how it is here. And it's a lot of homegrown stuff here. I just don't see them making that move. I just don't see it.
Two things that I'll say about the
But I'd
Spurs.
love, I'd love for him to go to the Spurs.
Two things I'll say about the Spurs. I'll make 2 points. One, I don't think that they should make the trade because I believe right now you have Steven Castle, who was just rookie of the year, still getting better. You got Dylan Harper, phenomenal talent, young, growing with Wemby on the same type of timeline. You got De'Aaron Fox. You got Devin Vassell. You got Harrison Barnes. You got Keldon Johnson. You got Luke Cornett. Of course, you got Wembanyama. You got Jeremy Sochan. You could either keep those pieces and let them organically grow together, or one of the things that a lot of people are not noticing, or are not bringing up enough. Okay, OKC, you just said, are on their way to being a dynasty. The two moves that they made was trading for Alex Caruso and signing Isaiah Hartenstein. Those are not all-star players.
No, no.
Those are not, oh my God, blockbuster deals. And they won a championship on their way to a dynasty. And they didn't have to mortgage all of their picks and their draft capital to do either one of that. The only person that they trade that was a lottery talent was Josh Giddey. The
Yeah,
Spurs can make marginal moves and bring in key role players that fit better to grow alongside young guys while not mortgaging Atlanta's picks and all the other great picks that they may have in the future to get better marginally, which will make them better contenders in the future rather than
yeah,
blowing up everything to get Giannis. That's my first point. The second point I'll make is, can the Spurs, or is there any internal concern about Wemby's long-term future where the Spurs may feel like, you know what? We don't know how long we're going to have Wemby. This is kind of, he had the blood clots last year. He had a calf strain this year. Are we going to have a 10, 15-year window with this guy, or is this going to be a 7 to 10-year window with this guy? If it's a 7 to 10-year window with this guy, perhaps we do need to trade for Giannis and go
yeah,
all in for a championship right now. So I think those are the two things that I'm thinking about for the Spurs. I still think option A, door number one, is better than option B and door number two. But door number two is a legitimate question that you could ask. And I think that Spurs fans are, or Spurs people internally in the organization, are even considering or thinking about, at least. So that's my point on the Giannis tip, man. The next story that we have in the NBA and the association, man, Chris Paul was told to go home with the Los Angeles Clippers, man. I go first on this one, man. I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about this. Like, it's so much crying in the national media about how you don't disrespect legends and all he's done for the Clippers organization. He's the best Clipper to ever put on a jersey, which he is. His jersey will be the first one retired with the Clippers, which it will. But at the end of the day, all of those things that I named are like past accomplishments. And when Chris Paul was an elite player, when he was in his prime of prime, at his peak of peaks, he wore on his teammates. His teammates did not like the fact that he wore on them consistently. More so Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, James Harden. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are players that he wore on. And now that same person that still has that same type of mentality is not an elite basketball player anymore. And he's on a team that is 5-16 and sinking fast. Frustration is high in that locker room. Tensions are high in that locker room. And you got a little gnat that's right there constantly in your ear telling you what you could do better, what you could do better, what you could do better, while he's contributing nothing to the team. He's contributing nothing to the team. So now, as a player, I don't want to hear this in my ear all day. You're contributing nothing, and we losing. Tyronn Lue haven't spoke to this dude in weeks. That's his head coach. Hasn't spoken to him. Right? It got to the point where the organization is like, hey, bro, it's 3 a.m. Hey, take a flight home, bro. Go home. Like, for it to get to that point with Chris Paul, and they know, the Clippers knew this is gonna look bad, us doing this. And they still did it. How obnoxious and annoying and an irritant must Chris Paul have been in that locker room?
I'm with you here. So he's been in the league for forever, and we NBA fans in general, he's been on successful teams. So we've been
Mm-hmm.
able to watch him on nationally televised games all the time. Even now, I guess not this year, right? But even recently, we've been able to watch him. And when I watch him live and even on TV, man, he's one of those players that just whines and whines and whines, man, and flops and does all the extra stuff that make me think like, man, he's annoying.
Didn't you
And
see
that's
him at
just
a
me.
game? I thought I saw you say
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like,
no.
yeah,
I've gone to games, right?
yeah.
I've gone to some Spurs games, watched the Clippers a couple times. Like when the Clippers were nice, right?
Mm-hmm.
When the tickets were worth it, right? They were must see TV because at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day, Blake Griff, DeAndre, Dunk Fest, it was exciting.
Mm-hmm.
But all he did was cry. It didn't matter what point of the game it was. They could be down 20, a timeout's called, he's in the ref's ear. He's always talking to the fans, like always trying to, he's just a guy that I feel like just does too much
Mm-hmm.
all the time.
Yeah.
Big time whiner, big time flopper. Like I don't even care for flopping, but I don't know, man. Remember when they had that fight in the locker room where he was like, "Oh, I know this passageway to get into
Mm-hmm.
the lock." Like who does that? And then on top of that, he didn't even really go in. He had the other people go
Mm-hmm.
in for him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he backdoored that team for him not to be involved in the scuffle that was about to happen anyway.
Yeah.
Like to me, those little things throughout his career, I'm not surprised that now it's like, okay, you're doing this again, whining, complaining, interjecting, probably trying to run things within the offense that you know what you don't even get that much minutes and you can't produce no more.
Yeah.
It's a shame that I got to break it down like that, but it's a what can you do for me now type of league, right? Because it's all about winning now. It's all about winning. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter anymore. So I'm not surprised that they did this. I think he's just one of those guys in the locker room now that he's just not worth it, man. The Spurs would have
Yeah.
kept him. The Spurs would have kept him if he
Well,
was,
hold
you
on.
know what
They
I'm
did
saying?
get Dylan Harper, Stephen Castle, De'Aaron
Yeah, yeah,
Fox.
yeah.
He wasn't gonna play
But
anyway. But I will say this though. So I forgot what player it was. I think it was when the Warriors first got Kevin Durant, and one of the players that they moved on from was Festus Ezeli. And
yeah,
Festus Ezeli went to the Portland Trailblazers, and I remember the Blazers were struggling that season. And they said Festus Ezeli and the players only meeting or in the locker room tried to like call out certain things, and he was like, CJ McCollum was like, "Hold on, bro, like you just got here, like don't try to tell us what we need to do." And I remember back then thinking that's kind of crazy that like somebody's trying to tell you like potentially a right thing to do, a champion,
yeah.
and you're like, nah, you're not in this locker room. And then it I've heard other stories, and then Gil's Arena, I think that was yesterday or the day before yesterday, they were talking about like as players, and they're players, they are former players. They were saying they don't want to hear somebody that's not playing, that's not contributing, that's on the bench talking. That's how athletes feel. That is how NBA athletes feel. And it's probably not just NBA athletes. You
Yeah,
are not contributing on the
everybody.
team. Yes, like there's hierarchy in the locker room. They don't want to hear the person on the two-way contract can't tell the person on the max contract, "Hey, bro, you doing this?" Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it don't. That's not how it works. It should work like that. You should be able to hold somebody accountable that's a teammate, especially if y'all all trying to win, which is the main goal. But at the end of the day, that's not how it works in NBA locker rooms and professional locker rooms. So for this story to break, it makes a ton of sense to me because, like I said, when he was in his prime, he wore on players. I don't know if you watched the LA Clippers, the Donald Sterling little biopic that they did, the whole little documentary that they did. It was like a 10-part series that came out on FX. Lawrence Fishburne was playing Doc Rivers.
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
And when Lawrence Fishburne first got the job, I mean, this could be Hollywood or whatever, but he was talking to somebody and he was like, I don't know why before I took this job, somebody didn't tell me that Blake Griffin and Chris Paul hate each other. And they was at this party that Donald Sterling had invited them to, all the players, all the faculty, all the staff. And Doc was just trying to get a feel for the players as he was getting to know him when he first took the job. And the character that was playing Blake was like, I love playing, but if I have to hear Chris Paul's voice again, I'm gonna beat him. I'm gonna put my foot in his. You know what I'm saying? Like he was
Yeah.
really like it showed. And I don't know if that really happened or if that was like like I said, Hollywood, but that has been the perception of Chris Paul since he's been in the NBA. Like he is a guy that wears on you. You hear stories from people that competed against him. You hear stories from his teammates, and so now that's this same guy is now 40, 38 years old, whatever, and he's not the same player. So we ain't trying to hear that. It's that
Right.
simple, bro. Like we ain't trying to hear that. And you wasn't here last year. You know what I'm saying? So it had to have been bad. It had to. That's all I was saying.
Yeah, and me and you, man, we're regular people. We're not athletes. We're not
Nope.
professionals. We're not in college playing ball. And the way that I could sort of mirror this is like me and you are playing 2K, and we got two of our other friends. So there's four of us, and my cousin who's 12. He's our fifth, only because he's my cousin.
Mm-hmm.
And he sits there. He don't got defense. He don't play. He don't get steals. He don't get rebounds. He'll get a wide open dunk every once in a while because he's cherry picking, and he's trying to tell us what to do or
Well, we
demand the
need to do
ball. You
better.
know what I'm saying? So you know what I mean? Or we
Exactly.
lose, and it's like, man, if you gave me the ball and did this, and it's
Yeah,
like, man, I
yeah.
just had 30 points.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
how I feel. These athletes are probably feeling about him. Like, yo,
Yeah.
man, like you're the little guy now. We understand. You used to be great, but at the end of the day, he never won anything in his
Yeah.
career.
There,
In his
there, there
career.
is a certain delusion that you have to be an NBA, to be a professional athlete. There's a delusion in your brain that you have to have where you're great. A lot of people have little like blocks in their head that say, no, you can't do that. Athletes in their specific profession, I believe, don't have that. They feel like if they not working out, it's something wrong with you. It ain't nothing wrong with me. I don't need to take accountability. I'm great. And like, so when I see a player like Carmelo Anthony, he said, I got DeMar DeRozan is next. Anthony Davis is next. I think he named one more player. He was like, he's next. These guys. And I'm like, these legends could just retire. NBA teams are not going to give you preferential treatment just because of what you used to do.
Right.
And I remember a long time ago when Allen Iverson was playing for the Memphis Grizzlies, a long time ago. And I remember he had got interviewed and they was trying to bring him off the bench because they had Michael Conley. I think they had OJ Mayo. They had Rudy Gay. They had a team.
They had a
And
good
he was
team.
like, and they was trying to bring him off the bench. And he was like, I don't know no former MVP. They got to come off the bench. I don't know no former scoring top champion. They got to come off the bench. So why I got to come off the bench? And I was like, bro, and I was a teenager at this point. I'm like, you're not that player anymore. This is the perfect opportunity for you to actually come off the bench, be a scorer, contribute to winning, and do that. But he couldn't see it. And so that let me know. And Carmelo went OKC, same thing. But
Yeah.
that let me know these guys are delusional, and that's what made them be an MVP player. That's why they retired top 15, top 10 all
Yeah.
time in
They don't
scoring.
lose it. They don't
Because
lose the
their
mentality.
delusion, there's a delusion that you have to have. And it's good when you're young and in your prime, but when you're past your prime, it's bad at that point. Now you
Yeah.
become like more of a
A
irritant.
nuisance.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
nuisance. Exactly. A nuisance more so than a contributor. So yeah, these players just don't see it, man. And that's pretty much all I gotta say on the Chris Paul tip, man. The last thing before we get out of here, man, the Max Kellerman and Bill Simmons interview. Max Kellerman, he said this.
If you're doing a debate show and you're a competitive person, why would you want me as a partner? That's bad. You want to go 15 rounds every day with Muhammad Kellerman? That's just bad. It's embarrassing, If you make a calculation that if you can be perceived as a solo act, really, that you can get paid at a certain level that you can't if you're not a solo act, then you'd like to be a solo act, or at least perceived that way.
Okay, so what do you think about what he said when he called himself I think he said Muhammad Kellerman or something like that. He called us like basically saying he's elite at debating and everything like that. What do you think about Max Kellerman and like just how he left unceremoniously in First Take and how everything fell out with him and Stephen A? What do you think about that?
Man, I'm a fan of the show, but I'm not really a fan of Stephen A. Smith.
Okay,
I
that's fair.
think so. In part of that interview, he had said that Stephen A's a guy that goes with the consensus. And when I really thought about that, I was like, man, has there ever been a really hot take that I've heard from Stephen A? No. But what he does is he goes with the consensus. Like right now, he's probably saying OKC is a dynasty. Everybody knows. Everybody knows that they're unstoppable right now, right? They've lost 2 games or something. So, yeah, it's the obvious. But he brings the theatrics and he brings being loud, and that's what makes it entertaining. And then when you have Max Kellerman, he's going to tell you how he thinks, but he's not going to lie about it, right? So you have, when they're debating, there's not really that back and forth, right? Because I think when you have one guy that's always with the consensus, now the other guy who probably agrees with you just to make the show has to now disagree, and it's going to look dumb, right? Because that's not really what they believe in. Like,
Go ahead.
you know, I think Kellerman, he's one of the better debaters. I really do think that. But I think he was set up on that show. I think it was one of those where Stephen A. Smith, this is his idea on this topic. You're just gonna go ahead and try to find something in there that you disagree with. And I think that's how they First Take's always been. Because look at Skip Bayless, man. He's crazy. He's crazy. He says the most outlandish stuff.
Yeah.
Outlandish stuff. That's why him and Stephen A were so great. Because no matter what the topic was, they always disagreed. And no matter how stupid his argument was, he at least did research and he backed it up.
Yeah.
So I think anybody that's why I think they rotate that panel. Because you can't have one person, because it's Stephen A is he's just gonna be the consensus guy. He's gonna be loud and he's gonna be theatrical. That's all that he brings. So I mean, is he a great debater? Stephen A, I don't know, man. I think there were times that I could see them debating each other and it was uncomfortable. But I also think that Max was the only real person across from him that was willing to really challenge him.
So Max Kellerman said a lot of things, and I told you I was going to save my take for the pod just so I can get your natural reaction. So one of the things I agree with Max Kellerman on, one of the best points that he made in that interview was that that Stephen A wanted to sell himself as a solo act. Hey, I could do this by myself, which would bring him more revenue, bring him more money, because he's saying, look, I'm doing this by myself. I got a rotating panel, I'm not attached at the hip by anyone. I'm doing this by myself. I'm bringing this show to number 1. That's what Stephen A always says, number one, because numbers matter. He said, I'm doing that by myself. So that's probably the best thing that I agree with Max Kellerman with. But Max Kellerman, while he was right on certain things with Stephen A, he's also been wrong, because I don't think Max Kellerman was that great when it came to sports takes, especially basketball and football. He was wrong like everybody else. He was just as wrong as Stephen A. Smith on certain topics. Just as wrong. I mean, he said when the Raptors won a championship in 2019, he was banging the Kawhi Leonard is the best player in the world drum. When he went to the Clippers, he said that the Clippers were going to win a championship, and that Kawhi Leonard was the best player in the world. He's better than LeBron. He's better than Kevin Durant. That's what Max Kellerman said. We all have found out since then that is not true. Kawhi Leonard cannot stay healthy. He's not better than Kevin Durant. He's not better than LeBron James. I don't think he ever has been. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. I don't believe that he ever has been. He's a great player, but it's levels to this, right? And he also said that Kawhi Leonard had more clutch moments than Kobe Bryant. Then when Jay Williams said, tell me about those clutch moments, he was like, how about this? Like, his eyes got big like a deer in headlights, and he was like, oh, wait, I can't. You know what I'm saying? They tried to talk him off the ledge first. Stephen A. and Jay Williams both tried to talk him off the ledge with that talking point, and they wasn't able to do it. He still doubled down in his ignorance. He said, fate of the world, I need a 3-point shot. The aliens are about to hit a beam and hit Earth. I need a 3-point shot. Steph Curry or Andre Iguodala, give me Iguodala. That's what he said. Give me Iguodala, end quote. Bad sports take. He said in 2019, Tom Brady was about to fall off of a cliff. All Tom Brady did after he left and went to the Buccaneers, win a Super Bowl, win Super Bowl MVP, Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year in 2021. That's all Tom Brady did after he left. That don't look like a cliff to me. He was like 43 at that point too. 43 or 44. You know what I'm saying? So Tom Brady was exceptional. You know what I'm saying? So I think that Max Kellerman, his bag, what got him removed from First Take was when Terrell Owens said to Stephen A. Smith that Max Kellerman seems blacker than you. When it came, I think they was discussing the Colin Kaepernick thing.
That's right. Yeah.
That is what got Max Kellerman removed. Because when it came to social justice, that's what Max Kellerman told the truth about him being Muhammad Ali Kellerman. Max Kellerman would wipe the floor with Stephen A. Smith when it came to social justice and race relations type topics. Because Stephen A. Smith, trying to be Mr. Conservative, trying to be Mr. Neutral, rolled the fence. He saddled the fence. Max Kellerman was like, no, he sided on the side of what was perceived right, or what was right, what he believed was right. And so a lot of, particularly the black community, rocked with Max Kellerman on that, and that I'm sure that infuriated Stephen A. Smith, especially when Terrell Owens kind of said it out loud, because this was said on social media, but that's social media. Stephen A. Smith probably don't look at Twitter or Facebook. He don't look at that stuff. But when Terrell Owens goes to ESPN on number one show in America, sports show in America, and says Max Kellerman almost seems blacker than you, that gets under a guy's skin. And one of the things I'm going to tell you, Marcellus Wiley said it. I can't find the YouTube video. I tried to find it. But Marcellus Wiley said it on his show. He said, Stephen A. Smith wants to be seen as the voice of Black America. And when Max Kellerman would destroy him on these social justice issues and debates, it made Stephen A. seem out of his league, deep in that water, and he didn't know how to swim. Stephen A. didn't like that. That's why he had him removed from the show. I don't think it had nothing to do with any BS that Stephen A. Smith tried to sell somebody about things getting stale, about I just needed a better debate partner, or none of that. Because he went on the Joe Budden podcast and said, when they asked him about Max Kellerman, he was like, I just want to be number one. You was always number one with Max Kellerman. You was always number one. It was never, you were never in jeopardy of not being number one. You got rid of him because you didn't like what Terrell Owens said and the perception that Max Kellerman seemed blacker than you. It's that simple.
I did not. I never looked at it that way either. I was one sided in the sports, but that makes complete sense. And I remember that because that clip went super viral for a very long time. And yeah, Stephen A. probably ain't even on social media, but I know he saw it, and
he
that
said
probably
it on the show to his face.
Yeah, and he probably is. That moved him a certain way, right? And it's true. He is always on the fence about things, and which goes to my point that he's Mr. Consensus. He's never. I've never. Can you name me one time where he had a hot take? You know what I mean? It's hard.
I can, but it'll probably be like I'll have to think about it. He says some stuff, but like he is very exaggeratory.
Yeah, right.
You know what? He said Kawhi Leonard is the worst superstar in sports history. That is a take because a lot of people push back on him on that. And he said I think he said it on today's show. He said Kawhi Leonard is the worst superstar. I think he said in NBA history or in all of sports history. That's what he said.
Yeah.
So that's a take.
That's a take. That's a take. But he's safe. He's a safe guy at the end of the day.
He's a safe guy. Yes.
I love Max Kellerman, man. I hope nothing but the best for. And I mean, it doesn't matter who you put across Stephen A. You're on a gravy train owned by Disney.
That's why I don't like that number one stuff he be peddling.
Yeah, you're never going to not be number one.
Bro, you go to a bar, they got 10 TVs all on ESPN with the sound off.
ESPN.
Of course,
ESPN
you're number one, bro.
ESPN 2,
ESPN News.
ESPN Deportes. Yes, they got everything, bro. Exactly, what do? They show it live and then they show the reruns.
Over and over.
And then they show they clip it to hell. Like they obliterate it, they clip it. Like all over my social media is just clips from ESPN. And I'm like, my algorithm ain't even like that. You know what I mean? My algorithm full of models.
Yep.
And then I still get ESPN, bro.
Yep. It's gonna find its way in there.
It's why I don't think it doesn't even. I don't even think Stephen A. needs to be there for it to be the most watched. Right? There's been times where he had vacation, and I still watch First Take.
Yeah,
because that's really the only thing that's accessible.
For me personally, it does lose a little bit of its luster. Like when Stephen A. is not there in that dead period when there's no basketball and no football, I'm not tuning in the first
Yeah,
take
yeah,
to
it
hear.
is. Yeah,
Like one guy, I mean, I don't have a problem with him, but Chris Canty, it seems like he tries too hard to like make a take. I don't like that about Chris Canty. I feel like he does too much. But I mean, other than that, like it does lose a little bit of his luster for
yeah.
me when Stephen A. Smith not on. But that's just,
There's
again, I don't really
yeah,
watch
but
First Take anyway because I get irritated with what they be saying. They say the most basic
it's just
stuff.
recycled news,
It's
man.
like
Just recycled stuff.
it's like when you go to the pool and you in the kiddie pool. That's First Take. Like it's safe. It's at your
Yeah,
ankles. The water is
right,
ankle
right,
deep,
right.
bro. You're in no danger.
But
Like
and
that's what it is.
honestly, bro, there's so many up and coming analysts. Like one guy that I really like is Richard Jefferson.
Oh yeah, Richard Jefferson, nice.
I really like him. He speaks well. He's super knowledgeable and he's funny as hell. And he can take being clowned on
Yeah,
constantly.
for sure. Yeah, for
Like
sure.
he's a dude that I would love to see on First Take.
But he's with ESPN though. That's the problem. Like on the podcast, I know I sent it to you to watch. Bill Simmons said, I forgot they was talking about the Lakers at a point where like the Lakers weren't good. And he was like,
Yeah,
can we talk about the Memphis Grizzlies that traded away Rudy
that's right.
Gay
Yeah,
and they got better? And it's like, I'm not to hear. And it's like, there are people that want to hear that. And y'all keep peddling this numbers talk to me. But again, the numbers talk is because we're on in every bar in America. We're on ESPN. We're not number one because we talk about the Lakers, Cowboys, Yankees. We're number one
right.
because we're the only sports broadcasting channel out there that people know and care about. You ask a regular person, what's the sports channel of the world? They're going to say ESPN. They're not going to say Fox Sports 1. They're not going to say
Right.
Amazon. They're not going to say Peacock. They're going to say ESPN. So at the end of the day, that's why we're number one. So maybe we could do a better job of educating fans if we talk about Rudy Gay being traded and Memphis being better. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to talk about what the Lakers are doing after Kobe tore his Achilles. We don't have to talk about that. It's nothing. Now we got to talk about Robert Sacre. Like we got to talk about Robert Sacre. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's stuff like that like that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to start a podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because to get away from stuff like that ESPN consistently shows, bro. Like I watch First Things First. That's one of my favorite sports shows. I could tell you every time what they're going to start their show off with. The Philadelphia Eagles, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Baltimore Ravens, the Buffalo Bills, the Dallas Cowboys. That's the 5 things that they talk about. And they sprinkle in other little news of other teams in there every little bit. It's like they talk about the same, like, and then it's in the A block, bro. It's like, okay, if you want to talk about these teams every day, so be it. Can you not put them in the A block of every single show? What take are you going to give me on Monday that I didn't hear on Tuesday?
That's different.
And that I'm not going to hear on Wednesday, and that I'm not like that's one of the things that I got tired of with national media is the constant repetitiveness of talking about the same teams over and over and over, which is why I watch YouTube content creators more than I watch ESPN because YouTube content creators talk about more teams. They talk about other teams, like they educate you. And like I'm all about education. So that's my thing when it comes to the sports stuff. We kind of got off of Max Kellerman and Stephen A. little bit, but like it all comes down to that same umbrella. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people are doing this sympathy stuff with Max Kellerman. And I understand, like, again, when it came to social justice, Max Kellerman was always on the right side of history. But let's not act like this dude was some sports savant. He said dumb stuff all the time. That Kawhi stuff he was on, that Kawhi tirade he was on in 2019, 2020 was sickening. It was sickening. It was sickening, bro. Like, it was not.
Hey, maybe he was forced to do that.
No, I think he believed that. I think, but I mean, you got to think about it. Kawhi Leonard was on top of the world in 2019. Like, he was on top of the world.
It's easy to say that he's the best.
I get it, but even in 2019, I was telling people, like, I'm different. I educate myself. I thrive off of that. But even in 2019, I was like, bro, the Raptors were a 59-win team with DeMar DeRozan. Yeah. Then they traded DeMar DeRozan for Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green. And then they added Marc Gasol. Of course they were going to be better. Like, of course. Yes, duh. They were going to be better with these guys. They traded away DeMar DeRozan for Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
Like,
that's an upgrade in itself.
And they had Norman Powell, Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, Danny Green, Marc Gasol, Serge Ibaka. Like, they had a squad. That was a squad. But everybody made it seem like it was just Kawhi.
Yeah.
I was like, I ain't get it, man. But anything else you got to say? Anything else you want to get off your chest, man?
Man, that's it, man. There really isn't a competitor to ESPN. Like even when Shannon Sharp was with Skip, just
Yeah, they still wasn't. Even at that
said
peak.
they had clips. They had clips, and I actually preferred that show
Yeah.
because it was funnier
Yeah.
with Shannon, right? His
Yeah.
personality, but
Yeah.
it was just ESPN. You can't compete. So I think that's why they do the same stuff because it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. And when you talk about looking at different news outlets, sports outlets, online podcasts, they put so much more food on the plate than ESPN does.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't get the same love.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
ESPN
And it
serve you the
sucks.
same meal Monday through Friday.
Every
Spaghetti and
time, bro.
meatballs. Spaghetti and
Every
meatballs
time.
every Monday through Friday.
It's a
But
prison, bro.
episode 53 is in the books, y'all. The No Narratives podcast. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. Let us know what we missed. Let us know what we didn't miss. Let us know what you agree with and what you didn't agree with. Thank you guys for watching. We out.
Thank you.